In 1981, Dr. William H. Robinson, who is the executive director of Better Community Development, at that time was the newly appointed pastor of the Russell Hoover United Methodist Church. And it was a brand new church, and he was given the keys to the building. One of the things that Reverend Robinson did was to connect with the United Methodist Church, which had, from New York, which had churches and communities working together.
I was recruited to a community developers project. It was called then the Black Community Developers. Build a community, build a better community, and restore the lives of people, in fact, who are hurting. That's how it basically got started. The program had 51% of the members of the church. 49% were persons for the board, came from the community. So it was not doing for the community, but it was working with the community.
One of the very first programs that we had was a daycare.
At that time, there was no daycare, especially for black moms per se, but most of them were single parent who did not have a place to go.
The community decided we're going to name it Paw'S Daycare, because Reverend Robinson, who they called Paw'S, was the first person they saw in the morning because of the staffing issues. He worked daycare as well. Today, we're thrilled to have approximately 7 programs that are vital and rebuilding and restoring communities.
As you know, we've been in the drug epidemic, and we started off working with persons who were homeless. And we found that many of the persons who were homeless had addiction problem. A part of the cause of them being hungry becomes systemic racism and what have you played a part as well. Redlining, all of the systemic stuff played a part. And our job was to try to rebuild lives.
Fortunately, we were able to move into a brand new facility 3 years ago, the Empowerment Center. It is 25,000 square feet. It is a LEED certified building. And in this building, the programs that we run are the treatment services, substance abuse program, which is called the Hoover Treatment Center.
Well, I had my daughter when I was 17, and I think I grew into like postpartum depression, and I got addicted to pain medication.
Until recently, I was married 20 years, and I adored him, and we were a happy family.
My parole officer, she gave me an ultimatum of 30 days here, 6 months in prison. So, you know, I dabbed in him.
All along, I had tendency to overdo my prescription meds. I smoked marijuana too, but the prescription meds, I couldn't control myself when I was on them.
This is my third rehab, or my third stay in rehab.
How is this different from the other ones?
This one saved my life. This one, I learned to know God. I learned to, I was filled with the Holy Spirit as soon as I walked into this place.
We drove up and I was like, I got a good feeling about it, Lauren. She said, I do too, Mama.
It's a thing within, you know, you just feel them. When you come through the front door, you just feel them. And
then we go to groups twice a day for 2 hours a day.
They work with us. They bring people in.
We have a doctor that comes and speaks to us on Wednesday nights. I really enjoy that night.
They bring a man in, I think once a month, for you or school, and he tells us how we can get back into school, even if we have loans we haven't paid.
We've had nurses come in. They've been awesome. They taught us a lot.
And I thought I'd never be able to go back to the nursing field, but they give me so much hope and faith that I can. And
Reverend Robinson, he's so loving and caring that, you know, he's not gonna turn you down. I don't care who he is, how many times you've been through the program, he gonna help you.
Friday mornings are anger management, and I mean that helps with a lot of us. And you know, it's just, this place just teaches you more than, it's taught me more than I've ever learned.
My wife, I woke up 2:30 this morning, she was going through my tablet and seeing all the notes and stuff that I had, and tears, tears were coming down her eyes. I said, what's wrong? What have I did? She was like, you ain't did nothing. She said, thank you for trying. All them notes came from this room right here. And it made me, it touched my heart, you know, for her to know that when I was sitting in here, what I was learning, you know, and what I brought home, oh man, the anger management program is awesome.
They've saved my life, not just changed it. You know, because I was desperately unhappy and didn't think I needed to be around anymore. So
It is 24 beds residential for men and women, and then we also do residential and outpatient treatment for persons 18 and older. It's a therapeutic property, that's what we say, because we also have 30 single room apartments. So a person can complete residential treatment, and if they are homeless or don't have a place to go, they can actually transition into an outpatient program, which is housed here, and live in one of those beautiful single room apartments. On the weekends, we have mothers who are able to get their children, and their children can spend the weekend with them here on the property.
Because of BCD, I got my rights back. They helped me. They supported me through my whole court battle to get her back. And I finally have my rights back to her. And she comes up here every other weekend. And she spends the entire weekend with me up here. And we go to church and we go out, and there's a park down the road we go to. And it's just, they're great and they're amazing to her. She loves coming up here to stay with me.
In Midtown community, when we first came here some 35 years ago, the properties here were abandoned, weed lots, just really run down. So one of the things that Reverend Robinson envisioned, along with the board, was to create affordable, brand new homes for persons who would be interested in moving back in the community.
And then right around 99, we started venturing into affordable housing, and that was sort of kind of one of my interests. So from that point in time, we looked and started working within the community and started identifying blocks and areas that we wanted to develop and build new houses for first-time home buyers. And
we have built some 80 homes in the city here in Little Rock. These are brand new homes. When we first built our first house here in Little Rock, there had not been a new house built in this community in the 25 years.
We started doing multifamily development, so we also started doing low-income housing units, low-income housing tax credits, low-income housing, transitional type housing for individuals who are transitioning out of prison or back into society, where we started doing multifamily units, and we've been able to develop close to 500 multifamily units in the state of Arkansas as well.
We obtained a block that was a very, it was not a safe block, it was a drug-infested block. And so we obtained those areas. And the Lord blessed us to build our first house, and then we built 3-4 more across the street.
You know, and probably I tell people all the time, one of the best pieces of advice that he got me, he said, well, before we do 100 houses, we got to do one. So, let's do one right.
People began to see and pass by and looked at it, and we were able to give them a deal that they were very proud of. And so we started off with building homes because the people did not have substantial homes to do.
Our approach was to do blocks versus doing a house. Because normally you could have a brand new home, but what does it look like next to an abandoned house?
So as we built new houses in the community, right, we had neighbors who lived next door to new houses that we were building that needed improvements done in their home, and some of them were elderly and weren't able to afford, the repairs. So we started doing renovations and applying for funding for that to help with the repairs of those individuals that live within the community. A lot of the programs that we started and implemented have been through collaborations and partnerships. So we've had some great partners that, from the city to the state to the private side, as far as banks and philanthropic community foundations and organizations that supported us and been a part of us as we grown our mission, who's been a partner with us. So and that's been one key component I think that's allowed us to be successful as we have, is through the partnerships and collaborations that we've been able to establish.
One of the other programs that we offer is a supportive housing program. And the supportive housing program is a program for men who are re-entering society. It's a re-entry program. Or it could be for a person a male who is homeless. And the facility is called Will's House. Will's House has been there for at least 18 years, providing services as it relates to homelessness, in particular for men who are re-entering society. There are 14 beds, there's case management, 24 hours, and we assist as well with jobs, transportation, and those other basic needs that they might need as they transition back into society.
At that time, I was homeless, trying to get on my feet, so I came over here to Will's House, and I was able to get a job, started working on my recovery, and that's been my sobriety date is November 4th of 2004. I haven't found it necessary to drink or do any drugs since then. And I was able to purchase a home through this program.
We took them classes.
I got custody of my son through this program.
Where it needed to at least be.
So this program is a great deal for me.
The Youth Initiative Program. This program is for youth boys 13 to 18 years old, where they are able to have experiences around cultural awareness, around academics, around community service. We also now do a program called Jobs for Life. It's a national evidence-based job training program with a faith-based component to it. So what we do is work with them for 8 weeks to assist them on some of those skills that they might need, such as resume writing, knowing how to apply for a job online, working with them as it relates to, you must be honest when you fill that application out. If you have a felony, you need to check the box, because in most cases it will catch up with you. One of the other things that we offer around health and wellness, we do what's called Cooking Matters. It deals with nutrition, it deals with cooking on a budget. This class is 6 weeks, and what we do, we try to get volunteers to come in to teach the nutrition part, and then we'll get a chef to come in and do the actual cooking. The menus are there. This is a partnership that we have, again, with Arkansas Hunger Alliance and the Arkansas Conference of the United Methodist Church, who provided the funding for us for that particular program.
I don't know how they do what they do with what they get, I just wish them so much success, and I hope to be around to volunteer and help,
We said we're trendsetters. We have been trendsetters. We've done things that churches and nobody else would want to do, even the city. So as a trendsetter, we will continue to set the trend, and grateful that Reverend Robinson, I have to keep saying his name, because it was his vision, and there were few people who were willing to follow.
And a lot of times, it's, I'm not going to sit here and say that it hadn't been tough, because there's been some times where it has been tough. But through it all, under the direction of Reverend Robinson and his vision, and through God, we've been able to still be here, but also still be able to bless the people within the community that needs the help.
I don't know where I'd be without BCD. Without Paw'S and this Bill. And you know, we all still make mistakes, but it's about how you get back. It's not about when you fall down. It's about how you get back up, and they really teach you that.
I think that the philosophy of building community needs to stay in place. I can't say the community building 10 years from now will be the same as it is now, but I think you have to have people who are looking to the future, trying to make things better. And if that stayed in place, then in fact, I think you could do it all over again.